What was supposed to be a 10-minute walk through the park turned out to be an hour, 45 minutes, and these guys were jamming.
My name is u.s.a. I am from Columbus, Ohio.
What made you move here to the city?
So I moved to New York pretty recently. I mean, officially about 6 months ago, but sort of it feels like I've only been living here for about 3 months. I would say sort of since September is when I really feel like I started living here full time. For about a year, going back and forth between here and New Orleans, which had been home for me for about 9 years. Now I live here.
And how long have you been playing the violin?
I was 7 years old.
What got you to playing the instrument?
I'm really lucky to come from a family where like the arts are very sort of embraced and encouraged. My grandpa played violin. He wasn't as serious about it as I was, but like he sort of, it was a hobby of his. We had this joke that maybe my sister would have majored in business, but she was getting pressure from the family to major in art. You know, sort of like that. Like it's almost like on that extreme. I think that my mom was very focused on getting me and my siblings involved in, you know, something artistically. She grew up hearing violin, so violin was something that she thought of as something that her kids could do. So she tried out me and my brother on, and I stuck with it. My brother moved on to other instruments, but yeah, so that's how I got started.
Is there a difference between performing and playing?
Wow, that's a good question. I guess when you say playing, I think about just sort of if I'm playing by myself versus performing obviously in front of other people. I think that playing is, with just myself, I tend to do something that's maybe subtler, a little calmer, and then when I'm with other people I get into sort of, oh, I want to be like an entertainer. Yeah, I'm not sure, you know, when I'm just playing for myself, which honestly doesn't happen enough. Like, I'm not focusing on entertaining anybody. anybody. There is still like at best there is still this kind of visceral emotionality that's there, but it happens in a different way.
Talk about the first time you performed in front of a crowd. What does that experience like?
First time I performed in front of a crowd. It was probably one of my recitals when I was doing my classical program. I mean, I was probably 7 or 8 and absolutely terrified, probably. I don't remember what song I played or anything, but yeah, I mean, I hated these recitals that we did as a kid because there's just so much pressure on you and you have to get it like exactly right or it's like embarrassing. I didn't really care for the music, and I remember like my hands would just like shake so bad for like the first minute of my piece. I was just, it was so nerve-wracking. I was gonna say I wouldn't say that I enjoyed it, but I think I did enjoy it. But maybe like towards the end I would get into it after I got past the jitters and stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed kind of emotionally interpreting the pieces, and I definitely enjoyed the positive affirmation that I got from it as well. Yeah.
You're now performing and playing with Go Island Go.
Yes.
I'm here with Go Island Go. How did you guys meet up? How did you connect? And how long have you been playing or performing together?
In August of 2022. So he'd been coming out to the park, and just by coincidence, my brother, my brother's also a street performer.
Our violinist, Adrian, is originally from Ohio, but he really cut his teeth on the streets in New Orleans as a street violinist, kind of doing it all on his own and slowly built a band. I was at the same time playing over Washington Square Park here in New York, so we didn't know each other, we weren't aware of each other. Turned out the whole time I'm playing at Washington Square Park, his brother was actually there. I didn't know this at the time. He's a street poet, so he was hearing me drum and he started to tell Adrian over in New Orleans about me.
He's a typewriter poet, and so he has like a little typewriter and a little table.
Thank you!
And you pick a topic and you get a poem on the spot. That's his thing. So you say, you know, I want a poem about falling in love in New York City or something, and then 10 minutes later you come back and he has this poem for you, and he'll read it to you, and then you just give money that you want to him, you know. So he was also setting up every day in Washington Square Park, so he was very familiar with Alan. And he told me, you know, there is a drummer, and he knew that I was going to be coming up to New York City, and he was like, you know, there's this drummer that sets up in the park that I think you would really connect with. And he sent me Alan's Instagram, and instantly I was like, oh yeah. This guy. I mean, I could just tell, like, there weren't even so many videos, I don't think, at that point, but just like the photos, I could tell that there was this really kind of pure, childlike enthusiasm, and then a ton of gumption because he's bringing a drum set out there. And I was like, I was talking to my brother, I was like, how do you think he gets a drum set out there? He's like, he must take an Uber, you know, and just Uber every day. And I was like, even that is like a lot, you know. And little did I know, he's bringing it on the subway, which is fucking insane, with a speaker and all that. I mean, it's crazy. one day in August, I went up to Alan in the park and introduced myself, and we jammed for maybe 10 minutes.
One of these times, Adrian came over into town, and then we jammed. So then we knew each other, and we've been playing for about a year now.
I got you.
It was cool. It was cool. I mean, it wasn't like amazing, but it was cool.
I'm gonna do something at that time. Remember you heard that? You heard that thing? You heard that thing? Remember? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that thing from last time. You were like, that's something.
From there, we connected again the next time I was in New York, which was November of last year, so just about a year ago. We can't have this during the interview. No, Max, let go. Let go. Max, let go. We'll give him something else to chew on. I want something that isn't. So, yeah, so we connected again November of last year, and that's really when we were like, there's something special here.
So what is your end goal, and do you have any aspirations to produce an album?
Yes.
Or does it stop at street performing?
That is such a good question. It's tough. Like, the traditional music industry is really tough, and we're really lucky to have found this little pop. Why are you growling at me? We're really lucky to have found this little pocket where we can make a living and not have to deal with the bullshit of the music industry, in terms of, like, it costs so much money to make an album, and very, very few artists make anything off of streaming now, because Spotify and the other platforms don't pay the artists equitably. So touring below a certain level of success costs more money than you make. And so if I go out and busk and make $200, let's say, that's like all profit. Whereas if we were to make $400 at a show, that's not all profit by far. I mean, because there's lodging costs, there's transportation costs, there's so many additional costs. I mean, it would be amazing to play for like 1,000 people or something. It would be amazing. But I don't know, getting there seems quite difficult, and I guess I'm not quite sure about like what the steps are and everything, in terms of like how do we take this from like a successful street show to something more. And I guess part of me is a little resistant to trying, because the lifestyle doesn't really seem like what I want it to be, and I enjoy what I do now, and it's like, it's relatively stress-free. It just sort of works. We would love to make an album for sure, but again, like, that costs money. So I think like a lot, figuring out a way to record on the spot is a good, relatively inexpensive way to do that. So I think we'll do that. But yeah, no, this industry is really tough. It's really tough. I mean, the fact that we're making a living is, to me, is definitely good enough. We do private events a lot, so those aren't glamorous, but they pay well. And yes, would I love to tour Europe playing 500-person rooms? Absolutely. Do I know how to? Not quite. Do I want to like put in the work of like eating shit for years and years and years on the road? Maybe not. So it's kind of a tough situation. I don't know quite what we're gonna do.
What is the most rewarding part of performance with passers-by?
Seeing people's faces. I love seeing people's faces, like when they're just delighted, you know, because then that really like kind of keeps me going, knowing that I'm making a difference. The other day I played in Midtown by myself. And it sucked. There was like nobody stopped and watched me. It's a different environment, you know? And then also I never get, I mean, me and Alan get way bigger crowds than I get by myself. Like, way bigger. You know, no one stopped and watched me, so I was just playing the whole time without feedback, and, you know, I was making much less money as a result, and getting in my own head, like, oh, maybe I suck, you know, like, oh, this sucks. So definitely seeing people's delight on their faces, and especially getting people to dance, for me, is what it's all about and kind of what I live for.
What is the most challenging part of performing with passers-by?
Yeah, the most challenging thing is really like the logistics of getting the right spot and stuff, because there's a lot of factors that you have, especially in a city like New York. So it's like, are you playing near an open business? Is that business going to care? Are you playing near apartment buildings? Are those residents going to care? Are cops just going to tell you to leave just because?
Adrian, what happened just now?
We were blasting. We were really pushing the limits of what we would get away with, and we got a noise complaint, and they told us to stop. So we're chilling. They just left, and we're gonna start again, but playing at like a softer volume, because we think that maybe one of our speakers was pointed in a way where maybe someone like in one of the businesses or something heard and then got pissed, you know, blah, 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 blah. So we've repositioned our speakers. We're gonna play less loud, and we're gonna try it again. In the case of the subways, you don't have those concerns, but there's a program of registered street performers, of which so far we're not a part of. And so all the best spots have a schedule. Sometimes, and you don't know if people are going to show up, so you're maybe playing a spot that's going really well, and then suddenly a band shows up. So then that's time and money that, you know, you could be making elsewhere and all this stuff. So if you have a good spot, you're golden, because you can just play there, you can make your money, people will stop and watch, you don't have no worries. But it's like in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, it's so easy. You just play, you know, and here it's tough. It's not impossible. And New York is actually better than most cities with street performing, but it's still, there's more to consider.
fun checking you guys out and seeing
No, dude, it's been great to have you here.
Reactions, you can see the looks on people's faces when they stop by and they see you guys performing. I wish nothing but success.
Thank you so much.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you
Doing
so
well.
much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Cool. Dude, I mean, it's been so great to like have you here. It's been fun to like, you know, have someone kind of, you got a lot of the best shows we played.
like every day of 2021 in New Orleans, and we haven't seen each other except for a minute on Mardi Gras.
Yeah, for 2 years.
2 years. It's been like 2 years since we've seen each other. Bro, amazing. Oh my God, I love it. What the fuck?
Thank you so much.
Incredible. Incredible. How long you here?
You're listening to the sounds of New Thousand. That's new like New York.
You probably had like the coolest job than anyone, which is telling that even that you didn't want, you know? Like,
I don't want to do it no more.
Like being a scuba instructor has got to be the coolest shit ever, you know, as far as employment goes.